Hello, my Cancer, and welcome to your day. Thank you so much again for joining me. So, as you can see, the moon is a new moon. It is time for us to reset our intentions into a new goal and what we want to try to accomplish over the next 28 days. The moon has also transitioned into Capricorn and will be in Capricorn for another day or so before it moves into Aquarius. But the peak of the new moon is going to happen in Capricorn. So, what I have done today is combine these two things into a tarot reading for the new moon, understanding how we can create a new goal and using the energies that we may be feeling from Capricorn to guide and understand the goals that we need to create. Lots of mouth words going on right there. So, let's just jump right into it. Here we go. So, the essence of where we're at, Cancer, is what is our ambition? What is the cost of our ambition? The things that we want so badly, what is it going to cost us? We drew the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is innately not the best card. It's one where the person is dissatisfied with their choices emotionally because they're not looking at all the options. They are so focused on a set of choices that they are just completely dissatisfied. And then they become apathetic, unmotivated, undesiring of change and being around loved ones in a real emotional connection kind of way. It just leads down a spiral of negativity. So our ambition is obviously the opposite. We want to be motivated. We want change. We want to see a new perspective. Where is it? We don't know. We are desperate. I do feel like I've kind of felt like that lately. But there's a need here, a need for emotional change, changing of your point of view. This can come in the form of like introspection where it's like you have to go, what is it I want, self? But it also might be like literally needing to look around at all of your options and understanding anything that is just like, in your mind, you just don't enjoy it, you don't love it, it's just not making you happy. Like, okay, stop looking at that. Don't dwell on the fact that you don't like that. So, what's going to happen if we can't get out of this mode? What is going to be the cost of our failure if we can't pull ourselves out of this kind of like discontented emotional state and find ourselves in a better place where we've found a new option, a new desire, something that's re-sparked our emotions? Is we have the upside down Ace of Swords. It's not actually upside down, but in this position it's very much upside down. The Ace of Swords is originally usually all about, new beginnings, new creative ideas, new energies, starting new ventures, just a really good root of all mental things. That's really not the best communication skills right now with Mercury in retrograde, but it has to do with being courageous with your mind, having the discipline and focus to get what you need. So if you're not able to get yourself out of this emotional rut, you are going to be completely opposite. You are going to end up being just stagnant, continually dissatisfied. You're going to have emotional conflict in yourself and possibly with others. There's going to be like this inner cruelty happening where you're battling yourself constantly because you're emotionally dissatisfied. You're becoming mentally aggressive. It could even cause like negative thought about yourself where you start putting yourself down. Okay? So there's this real mental spiral where it's not even that it's like the worst mental place you could ever be in, but it is just so not what you're capable of. You're capable of this huge new jump forward. When you pull yourself out of this emotional, like little discontented, negative spot, you're going to have this huge burst of mental energy to go with it. But if you don't, it will turn on you. That mental energy is literally going to be like a sword in your, stabbing in your mind and causing all this negativity to just pour in. Kind of a weird metaphor, but you're welcome. So, what is maybe something that'll be like a compromise? How are we going to get where we need to go while still struggling to get there, And the card that you've drawn is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is traditionally one of fulfillment, desire, success. On the low end, it could talk about like shallow kind of stubbornness and greed, maybe even gluttony. The nines in general, though, if you take it as face value, this is a card completely ruled by the moon. The nines are all ruled by the moon. And this is very foundational. It is very to the core of what it means to have emotion. So the key factor, oddly enough, for pulling yourself out of your emotional rut is to go back to the core of what makes you happy. Just the absolute essence of you being at just this purest state of being, this purest state of happiness, understanding what naturally turns up your cheeks, what naturally makes you smile without even having to try. Is it a person? Is it an idea? Is it joking around with others? Is it a way of being? You need to analyze a little bit. You need to use a self-assessment here to say, what really is my go-to happiness? And that's where your focus should lie. A go-to happiness is definitely going to be a good way to pull yourself out of an emotional rut. So here the next card we have is, why are we in this emotional rut in the first place? And this one is quite clear. You have the King of Wands. Okay, the King of Wands is passion and pushing forward and desire and everything to the core of what that means. But it also is like this long-term successful leader, this ability to thrive and do. But in the placement of where you received this card, where you have this successful desire, okay, you're craving more. You have so much that you're trying to obtain passionately. Like, in myself, I can only give you examples of myself. And since I happen to be a Cancer, I can tell you, I'm feeling very much, I would say it is passion, a passion to want more from life. I am always trying to go and do to the point where I'm like kind of burning myself out. But lately, especially when it comes to work, I just want so many things to change, and it's just little things all over the place again and again and again. But I want all this change to happen, and I want it to happen right now, because waiting around is lame, and it also is so much work. I want to be able to check these boxes. I want to be able to get them done. And then instead, I really do find myself in like the Four of Cups location, where I am sitting here looking at the same redundant tasks over and over again, completely dissatisfied, wishing that I had other options to focus on. And it's just, but that's just my story. I'm not trying to harp in on anything. I'm trying to give you an example of what I mean, that you in your own way, Cancer, you probably are feeling a lot of the same kind of energies that I am. And so there's probably this desire for just more in general in your life, this fiery passion that you really can't even explain, because your mind is kind of mentally trapped, because you have these emotional things clouding your judgment right in front of you. You're just focusing on these specific cups of energy, and you're not seeing all your choices. So the only thing that you can see is what's in front of you, and that's what you don't want. And it's causing you to just spiral. So maybe this last card will give us a little bit of clarification as to why we've been so stubbornly desiring this passion and refusing to look for additional options to help us. And the card we've drawn is the Page of Pentacles. The pages are like the youth. The pages are, there are adolescents that are just wanting to just start new things and try new things. They're not like the aces that are all about new beginnings, but these are people that wish they were always in a state of ace life, you know? They think that they've got to have it now because now feels like the right time all the time. So you have this energy to just be in this beginning state of growth. You feel this physical need to grow and do. And you've been being a little bit stubborn. You've been refusing to accept the fact that life isn't always a box of chocolates, you know? Well, that was kind of like the wrong metaphor. Life is a box of chocolates because you never know what you're going to get. And life isn't always a dozen roses. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Life isn't perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And if you're always trying to strive for some level of this ethereal perfection, this more, then you're always going to be mentally unhappy, you know? And part of the problem with a Page of Swords or a Page of Pentacles also is that there's this youthful inexperience that clouds their motivation. They have this ambition, they have this inspiration, but they don't know all the answers. So they get a little bit unmotivated to move forward. They have the desire, you know, that King of Wands energy, but they don't have any path. And the real full circle of this is when you focus on the same things over and over again, you can never expect something to change. You have to change something. You have to change something however you can. And as a water card, we're not just going to change our mind. We're not going to change our passion, you know, but our emotions. We've got to find a way to conquer our emotions and understand that we're in a good foundational place. Things do make us smile. Life is going well. It's not all garbage. Maybe it's not all perfect, but it's definitely not all garbage either. So, coming back to the beginning of our point here for today's video is that we are in a new moon. It is time to set our intentions on a new goal, focus in, and figure out what we're going to do in this next new moon cycle. How are we going to help ourselves to change? What are we going to focus on that's going to be beneficial to us? This reading tells me that it should be something emotional, but not, I'm not getting like this need to go out and do something for emotional gratitude. I'm getting obviously a big need to do something that's going to have an emotional payoff. So there's definitely going to be a call to do something mental, something you have to learn. And I'm going to say that your goal should be focused on learning something, trying to figure out something new. I don't want to say like necessarily educationally, like, oh, you should go like study a chapter on whatever or anything like that, but find something in your life that you have been interested in maybe learning more about, and don't just go out and say, yes, I'm going to learn this, but use this as an opportunity to discover if you really are interested in that other item, in that other thing. So I would say maybe take an opportunity to learn something that you're not interested in. You know, how weird is that? Go and study something or look into something that really has nothing to do with something you normally care about. Because when you push your mind into new understandings, it naturally is going to awaken something emotional inside of you. It might be good, it might be bad, who knows, but it will cause a reaction to happen. So maybe even study something that you naturally don't like. I don't really see that in this reading. It's not saying be totally counter to what you're normally doing, but right now, you're being a little bit stubborn with your physical. So maybe you can relent a little bit on your mental. Maybe that would be easy for you to try and learn something that you don't really want to deal with, or maybe you haven't really had time to deal with. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly how I would relate this to my own life, because I'm somebody who's always kind of interested in everything. And I'm definitely not going to just go out and try to learn more about something I don't care about. But, talking to people, hearing what their passions are, it can give you ideas of what other things are out there that your brain just does not normally navigate towards. And maybe just try to do something physical and new that you don't normally try to do and normally try to learn about. And I encourage you, always pick something that's relevant to your life. Don't just go out and pick some subject that doesn't matter. Like, for instance, just popped into my head, off the top of my head, if I was going to pick something to learn right now, I might use my boyfriend as an example. He's always doing things for us. He's always fixing things for me, because I'm not really that great at fixing things. I'm always the inside the house person. He's the outside the house person. But I have been a little bit curious about exactly what is required for doing maintenance on my mountain bike. I hate maintaining things of that nature, but there is benefit to it, because what if something happened and I was alone in the woods? I have the tools in my backpack all the time, but I don't know how to use them. Like, I literally don't know how to adjust the settings on things. And if I was by myself, if something happened and he was ahead of me or behind me, or we got separated and I got a flat tire, I might do more harm than good trying to fix the tire. So, I don't know if that's what I'm going to pick. It's not really my cup of tea. I was originally going to pick something to do with the YouTube channels. I wanted to try to get more regimented. I wanted to try to get set up on a better system, but that is something I already want to do. And I've just encouraged you to pick something totally, totally fresh and new to learn. And that's also not learning. That's just scheduling. So, I always re-listen to these videos the day after, because I do so many of them, I can't remember which one's relevant to me. And so I re-listen to the cancer videos as a subscriber and not as a creator. And so I'm going to listen to this video again tomorrow, and I'll probably hear myself saying these words right now and go, golly, she really did say that, didn't she? So, Cancer, I don't know if you're in it to win it, but if you're here with me for this journey, let's try it together. Let's go out and try to learn something that we really don't want to learn, but would benefit us anyway, and see if it doesn't help emotionally spark us in some odd way into seeing the world from a different angle. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I sound so motivated, don't I? Man, that dang Pinnacle card, he's a lack of motivation. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this. But we definitely need a little more motivation. We need to stop being so focused on things that we know aren't helping us. And I guess if we can't help but focus on things that we know aren't helping us, then what harm is there than with trying to focus on something we don't really care much about either way? You know what? I've just decided this isn't a bad reading. It totally makes sense. What could it hurt to help but motivate us, but to try something completely against the grain of what we normally would do? All right. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Like, subscribe. You know what to do. And I'll see you later. Bye.